Hey everyone, welcome to Eye to Eye. The age-old tradition of burlesque is back in the spotlight and hotter than ever. Dita Von Teese tells CBS News Sunday Morning why the racy performances are drawing such a crowd.
Why is there an audience for this type of performance?
Well, it's really interesting because since I've been performing burlesque, I've watched the audience shift. You know, when I started performing in the early 90s, it was a very underground audience, a lot of fetishists and a lot of people that were into this kind of exotic clothing. They want to see women in garter belts and stockings, and a lot of the fetish scene was involved at first, and people that remembered burlesque or people that were interested in retro style. And now what I think is interesting is it's become really mainstream in the past few years, and it's more of a female audience. I think it's really, really exciting and interesting that it's seeing such a revival with women that are really embracing this style, and they want to have fun with it, and they want to embrace their inner bombshell and get really, you know, have fun with dressing up and feeling like they're feeling their own like confidence and sexual power, and seeing a different version of sexy other than just, you know, a blonde bikini babe, tan, natural looking, running down the beach in slow motion. Like, this is a different kind of sexy, and I think that there's a lot of women that can relate more to like this style, which is a very created style. Anybody can do what I do. Anyone can create glamour. Really, it's all about the fantasy and the smoke and mirrors of it all, and having fun with it.
For people who don't know or don't understand or perhaps misunderstand the differences, what is the difference between burlesque and that kind of a striptease and a strip club act?
Well, I think, you know, I get a lot of people that don't want to hear this, but the truth is, you know, they're all relative, and I don't put down strippers, pole dancers, lap dancers in a strip club because, number one, I used to be one of them, and that's where I started developing my act. And number two, it's just burlesque houses were what strip clubs and pole dancing was back then. I started by recreating vintage style pinups, and while I was researching pinup girls, I looked through the men's magazines of the 30s and 40s, and the models they would have little taglines next to them. They say, so-and-so dances at Minsky's, or so-and-so dances at, which, you know, the burlesque house. And so that was where I first made the connection, and I thought, this is so great, this burlesque thing. Like, I want to be a pinup girl, and they did the pinup photos to promote their show, and I can work in the strip club, and I can make this act, and I can revive this whole retro style striptease, and it all fit together for me. I was already interested in retro style and dressing that way already.
Is burlesque culturally an answer to something?
Well, it's hard for me to look at it that way, because I really look at the whole, you know, the kind of what goes around comes around, and, you know, it's an important part of American entertainment history, and I'm just glad to see that it's back in this way, and that people are enjoying it and they're learning about the history of it. But I think, you know, I think it's a nice answer to, you know, like, again, the stereotypical idea and version of what is sexy, and it's sort of like, you know, I'm not the girl next door. I don't want to be the girl next door. And so it's sort of like the opposite of the girl next door.